Hello morons, it's Victor, King of Morons. Welcome to another long ass video.
And hello there morons, it's Victor, King of the Morons. And how you doing? This is a driving vlog. Yes, how you doing? Oh, it's cold today. It is January, what's today? January 13th. It's Wednesday the 13th. Why don't I have Friday the 13th? I wonder why Friday got on the unlucky day. There must be a reason for that, right? So many things we just know, we take for granted, we don't ask why. Why is it Friday the 13th? Anyway, I'm driving today with my new iPhone 6S. This is the front camera though, so it's only 720p. So I can see myself to make sure it's on focus. I guess I could turn it around and, you know, but I want to make sure. I'm new at this camera, you know. It's a huge camera. I got the Plus, so. It does apparently record in 4K if you flip it around on the other side. But anyway, that's not important. Today I'd like to cover quite a few topics. I'll be covering a little bit of drama, a little bit of gossip, a little bit of opinions, a little bit of just channel update and stuff. So this is a laundry video. If you're expecting me to get to the point, well, not gonna happen. Okay. Anywho, let's see what's happening. Where do I start? I don't know. Well, Christmas is over. As you know, Christmas is a time here in Japan for a romantic time. For me, however, I was sick. As soon as I get vacation, I get sick. It's like some bizarre, like my body knows. It's like, oh, you're on vacation. Time to get sick. Yes, oops, sorry. And that's what happened. So I've been doing over 100 push-ups a day, the Eric Surf 6 push-up challenge. And on December 25th, I had to take a little break because I just couldn't do it. I could only do 20. I was incredibly weak. I was like, oh man, why do I feel? And I didn't realize I was sick, but it's the goddamn baby's fault. I'm gonna punch that baby. Don't punch the baby. Yeah, I seem to be getting sick all the time now. So a little cold. And I don't know why, because the baby's not even going to kindergarten or nursery school yet. And apparently that's when it gets really bad. Like they bring home all the crap from the other stupid babies and, you know, you're just full of snot every day. But the one thing if you don't know, if you come to Japan, I'm not saying you should come to Japan, by the way. I'm just saying if you come to Japan. Some guy made it's a funny video. You can go check it out. And if anyone thinks, if enough people say it's worth it, I'll make a response, but it's not worth it. Some guy made a video named "Give Me a Flakman Exposed," which I thought he was going to finally, you know, he was going to expose me as having a vagina or two penises or something, 3 balls, something funny, you know, something interesting. I'm a communist. I don't know, some kind of exposure. But it was basically, I don't like him. And it was obviously a guy who didn't watch my videos. He's like, he thinks I'm dishonest because I tell people how great and wonderful Japan is, even when I say the negative stuff, which was just so goddamn ridiculous. And you know me, I don't mind criticism. What mostly I'm annoyed by is just inaccuracies. Just come on. Obviously, you didn't watch any of my videos, but it got to me thinking. You know, I've never really made a video. I don't make videos promoting coming to Japan. Okay, I make videos basically debunking bullshit that other people say, or just showing stuff that I think are cool and neat, you know, neato stuff, right? But I don't think I've ever made a video saying you should come to Japan. It's a great place, and you will be loved here, and it's a wonderful land. I've never said that at all. In fact, in the if you remember the Victor versus Barry versus Japan video I made about a month back, that long 40-minute thing, which I thought was a pretty good response to again a guy who had a very bad experience here. In that video, I said go to China, and if I had it to do over, I would say go to China. I wouldn't say go to Japan. And I was talking to Unrested about this. We were like, you know, if you think about it, we really don't want people to come to Japan because it would just take away the English jobs, right? But of course, if that's all you do, but I think everyone's who's been here for a while gets involved in other forms of work. You know, there's, as you can tell, I'm a model, professional model. Narration, I also do that. Other kinds of jobs that you do. So it's not just one thing, right? I've owned bars here in Japan, but I definitely would not recommend anyone, you know, let's just make sure there's no misunderstanding. So obviously there's an incredible misunderstanding with at least one person who thinks I'm deceiving my subscribers. He also said I was so scared of losing subscribers. But you know, I made a video like years ago saying, fuck all you guys, I'm gonna make the videos I want to make. If you don't want to sub, fine. And I told you, I don't give a fuck about your subscription. I really don't. People, I mean, there's actually one person whose comments I always look forward to. And I look forward to your comments. You comment a lot, and I was like, oh, I like that guy. That person always commenting nice comments, you know, or interesting comments. And when you comment a lot, I get to know your name. And there's one person who's like, well, I'm not a subscriber, but I don't. Who cares? So what? So what? You're not a subscriber. You don't want to commit. You got commitment problems, right? Okay, fine. You're not my girlfriend, but we hang out all the time, and you put out, so we know what's happening. We know the truth, right? Anyway, I am, however, more than interested in your subscription. I'm interested in your opinion, and I am disappointed when you don't follow me, or you decide to disown me for some reason. You know, you say you're never gonna sleep with me, and I'll give you one good example. There's a guy. I don't even know if it's a guy. I think it actually might be a gay guy. Not that that's relevant, but I think I have this slight memory that he was gay. Not that it's supposed to be an insult in any way. It's not like, oh, you're gay. No, nothing like that. I seem to recall he mentioned he was gay. Anyway, a guy named Mad Dusa. And Mad Dusa, if you're watching, which you're probably not because you swore off my videos, I made a video about a Confederate flag like 6 months ago with Mully, and you know, I spent a lot of time in the South growing up, and I just mentioned that. I just said, you know, I don't think people who have the Confederate flag are necessarily racist, and I think if you want to be able to fly it, like when you see it on many harmless things like the Dukes of Hazzard car, and that doesn't make you think of lynching blacks at all, right? So I was just pointing that out. I've come to realize, though, however, that there's certain things that you just can't get away with anymore, or that become things that you can't get away with. So there was a time in the old days where you could say, you could have the Confederate flag and no one thought anything of it, and they sold it all over the place, and it was just considered cute. But nowadays I understand that it's become a big issue and it's considered offensive. But I think it's honestly, I mean, it's an interesting psychological exercise. It's society. You know, we just decide, okay, you know what, we're simplistic. People are simplistic, and we decide we're just gonna coat everybody with the same coat of paint. If you like the Confederate flag, if you support the Confederate flag, then you're a racist. Period. Right? Which is not true. And I think a lot of things get covered up in this. And I'm going to bring up something that no one will like. Oh, look at that, police officers everywhere. What are they doing? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 police officers, 9 police on bicycles. They're all hanging out there. I don't know if you guys can see that back there. Oh. Okay, we're back. I dropped the phone. All right, there's a bunch of police officers on bicycles hanging out at the side of the road, just talking for some reason. It looked kind of weird. Let's get together on our bicycles and chase down crime. Okay. You know what's funny? The American, like I think in Los Angeles, like San Francisco, and maybe Seattle, they have cops on mountain bikes so they can chase down people. But in Japan, they're like the mamachari, which are kind of the regular bicycles with baskets and stuff. They're not very aggressive or imposing or intimidating at all. Anyway, what were we talking about? I've completely lost my train of thought. I don't make videos supporting that. I don't care about you. Yeah, Mad Dusa. So he decided to stop watching my videos, and then he popped on a Comfort Woman video the other day. I did about the news, top 3 news, and I was talking about how, you know, I said Korea's got to get past this thing, and he was, and you know, they're getting compensated, and he jumped on and he said, he said, this was the funny part. He said, this is so insulting. Fuck you, Victor. Really, fuck you. That's what he said. He wrote, really, Victor, fuck you. Which I thought was kind of ironic. Like, he's angry that my opinion apparently is insulting people who are never going to watch my video because they don't speak English and live in another country. And he personally went out of his way to tell me to fuck you, which I thought was actually sad and insulting at the same time. I wasn't really insulted. I was more sad than anything because I don't think he didn't catch the irony. Now I understand that I understand it's probably much more complicated than just he's insulted by my opinion. And you know, how can you be insulted by someone's opinion? All you can do is disagree. I don't understand how an opinion can be insulting. You may decide, well, wow, that person, I disagree, and I could be disgusted by an opinion. I don't want to associate with that person anymore. I understand that, but the thing about the Comfort Women that's really screwed up is that they have been apologized to many, many times in the past, and they have received compensation and offers of compensation. And to be honest, this issue is not going to be resolved simply because Abe apologized again this time. I mean, we've talked about this and we could talk about this to ad nauseum, you know, but it's just never going to end, because they're never going to agree to accept any apology, which is their right, and I can't blame them, you know. But I think it's kind of strange to like demand money or compensation in the first place. It implies that you're for sale, you know. So you raped me, but if you give me some money, I'll finally forget about it and quit. Like with Cosby and stuff, like one of the women apparently she was paid off to go away. You know, I understand that that's the real world and that's how things work, but and also I think starting to think about this, I think if you were raped, that the apology and punishment for the criminal, the rapist, you know, is what is appropriate. I don't think compensation kind of should even figure into it. I guess you can compensate someone for losing, you know, for being traumatized, but it's a tricky thing, especially in this case, because they're allegedly comfort women and half of the people in this argument, or some people argue that they're actually prostitutes. So it's not an easy topic, but my point is, it's really sad that Japan and Korea couldn't get this behind them, because they could be an awesome force in the world if they cooperated. Like Europeans all cooperate together. The Germans cooperate with everybody. And I think a part of that is not just because Germany actually did a much more heartfelt apology. I think a lot of it is part of the Asian culture. You know, losing face is a big deal here. Right? You don't want to lose face, and by accepting an apology, maybe somehow that's losing face. And playing the victim is, I guess, much more to your advantage here. Right? Where in other worlds, you know, other countries, it would be that way. And it's just amazing to me. I mean, right now they're being offered like close to $300,000 per person, right? And they're still pissed off about it. And when you look at what the Americans offered the Japanese who were interned in the internment, who were put in the internment camps, were they interned? Is that what the expression is? They were offered $10,000 and an apology, and they took it, you know, and you know they got on with their lives. So I mean, of course they weren't raped, but still, that's pretty fucked up to put you in jail when you're an American. That's really insulting. It's like what Trump wants to do to the Muslims. But anyway. So my point there is, it's sad, you know, I after the Confederate flag, what's happening? After the Confederate flag stuff, I realized that it's just too insulting for too many people, and it's just not worth it, you know. And I still stick to my gun, to the opinion, not guns, to the opinion that not everyone who flies the Confederate flag is racist, and there are even blacks who support this. But I mean, if it's that offensive, then yeah, maybe we should not support it at all. You know? And I mean, I always agreed it never should be on any public building. But anyway, it's your interaction that I look forward to. Another asshole, I forgot his name, something Tomato. Well, no, I'm sorry, Bad Deuce is not an asshole. He was kind of, well, I mean, he was insulting. He took things too personally, and I don't know why we couldn't communicate. And that's the thing. That's the line I like from The Agent. I'm sorry, it's the Japanese title. Jerry Maguire. Cuba Gooding Jr. says, "That's the difference between you and I, Jerry. You think we're fighting, but I think we're just starting to communicate." And that's what I like. I mean, I want to be able to fight and communicate with you guys. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people you can't fight with on the internet because they take it too personally. Now, there's quite a few people who can, like Zeppelin. I don't know if you guys remember. What was his name? Tokyo Zeppelin? Like that guy you could fight with on the internet, and he was cool about it. Unfortunately, the problem with him is he had friends who took it personally. Even my students who liked him were like, "Victor, you shouldn't have made that video about him, you know, insulting him." And they got all emotional and shit. Like, actually, one of my students cried. So I understand a lot of you guys get emotionally involved in this, but you have to understand also that I'm not. When I do make videos stating my opinion that might be slightly negative about someone else or disagree with someone, it's not a malicious thing. It's just I think the value of, I think honesty is very important, and we should do our best to be honest when we can. Unfortunately, a lot of people, you know, do suffer. Right? That's some of the drama stuff. Anyway, what was the point of that? I don't remember. So let me see. I was sick. Christmas. I got these funny hate comments. Oh yeah, talking about Japan. Anyway, let's go on to different topics. Now, I have Patreon. Right, I have a Patreon running, which has been doing really well for about a year, and that's about a year and I guess a month, 2 months now. And I gotta thank everyone's support. Thanks to that, the Patreon support, which we do offer quite a few things. One of the things we offer are Maggie Sensei lessons that are really, really good lessons. And Maggie Sensei makes no money at all, zero. Right? There's no ad. I think there might be a couple ads on there, but it doesn't make any money. It's like, a couple of those Google ads on it's a blog. For those of you who don't know, by the way, Maggie Sensei is a blog, a language blog. It's one of the top in the world now. It gets 3,000 to 4,000 unique visitors a day. Every month we're doing better and better. And for a language blog, it's extremely well respected. Yukari at Action Language Academy, she works on it, and it's her pet project, and it's just so rich. It has so many lessons on so many topics that you can't get anywhere else. Not just the regular grammar stuff. It's a little bit tough if you've never studied Japanese, but if you've got your foot in the door and you have any kind of idea of how Japanese works, I highly recommend it as a place to expand your real Japanese language. It has audio files as well. Once in a while we have a video corresponding to it. But anyway, that's for Patreon supporters. You for $2 a month minimum, and there's different stages: $10, 50, whatever. You get different things. Anyway, thanks to Patreon, we are able to get a new computer for Maggie Sensei. And thanks to Patreon, I got a new camera. This, however, this is the iPhone 6S, which is not thanks to Patreon, because they're doing a really great buybacks thing right now. If you give them back your iPhone 5 and you agree to a 2-year contract, then you can get this phone. This is a 128 gigabyte phone. Plus, this is the plus size, for I think 1,500 yen a month, which is damn good. So in the end, you give them back your old phone, and you end up paying like almost nothing. What is that? 1,500 times 10, 15,000, 30,000, about less than 30, about 36,000 yen for this phone, which is a great deal. I think if you bought it new, it'd be like 128,000 yen. Well, so roughly in American English dollars, it's about, this phone new is about $1,200, I think, or at least $1,000. But doing it this way costs you maybe $400, so it's a good deal. You got to give them your old phone though. Okay, so anyway, Patreon's doing well, and last month I put out 20 Patreon only videos, and they have not seen the light of day. And some of them have been laundry vlogs, some of them have been just me going over to different temples and shit. And what people don't realize is I actually travel to quite a few different places, and I don't have time to edit all of them beautifully, so I put them out on Patreon. They're slightly edited. I mean, they're edited, but some of them are really long. So if you enjoy my stuff, most importantly, if you enjoy my stuff and you want to support the channel, then go to Patreon and throw me a couple bucks, whatever you want. Look at the different tier categories that they have there, and you're able to help make this channel, what it is today, which is always doing better, right? And on that note, I've upgraded my software, my music ability. I've actually using Patreon money to purchase a membership to a music site that usually I would never buy, right? But it's really improved the videos. I did a video called Ochobo Inari. It's on the gimmeabreakman channel. It was like 3 hours of footage edited down to 22 minutes. It took me like 12 hours to edit. Of course, it's never going to make that money back, but I think it's a great video, and it's thanks to you guys that it was able to be made. So anyway, long story short, Patreon is great for video makers. It really helps us. And if you're, not just me, but all of us, because Google AdSense does not pay what it used to pay. I was checking the numbers from like 5 years ago. It used to pay double. It's actually half as much as it used to pay. So with that in mind, we cannot make a living. It's actually not worth doing with just AdSense. So if you do have, not just me, but if you have any favorite vlogger and you want to support them, in mass, you can really make a difference. $2, $10, $5, whatever you want, and communicate with them, right? And Anyway, and I'm I'm here for the communication. I met a lot of great people through Patreon as well, so that's great. Anyway, it's been great, and I want to say thank you. And I've showed my appreciation by last month putting out 20 videos. This month has been really slow because I'm just crazy and I was sick, but I'm going to start putting out some Patreon only videos as well. And I sent a bunch of like end of the year packages, like thank you packages out to a bunch of people. I literally went to the mailbox I think I made 4 visits. I sent off thousands and thousands of packages, and it was great to interact. And a lot of them sent me Christmas presents as well, so that was cool. Anyway, that's a little update on the channel. So we got that. Oh, and because Tomoko appears on my channel so much, I want you guys. Well, I don't care if you know, but you might as well know. I have purchased a GoPro 4 silver for Tomoko because she wants to be able to see, so she prefers the screen on the back. It's $100 cheaper than the GoPro 4 that I have, but it's a little bit easier to use. And she's going to be using that, and that's also thanks to her participation. People ask me, do you pay Tomoko? It's really none of your business, but don't worry, Tomoko's fine. She's being compensated. No, of course not. I don't mean that, but no. No, of course, I always take care of Tomoko. She's my friend, and I respect her, and I would never just use her to be in the videos. And I help her grow the channel, and I check her. I help out with her channel as well. But anyway, she is being compensated in her videos, and her channel is growing. And now she's got it. And I give her stuff. Don't worry about Tomoko. I offer her money all the time, actually, but she won't take it, so I have to buy her things. I buy her presents all the time. So this is probably one of the biggest ones. So new GoPro camera. So please support her. She's going to be teaching a lot of yoga lessons on her channel. Okay, that's another little piece of information I wanted to give you. What else happened? My son is going to be a year old, and I'm really embarrassed about this. I really dropped the ball on this. I was supposed to give away a T-shirt last year, so I screwed up. So I should take care of that. I got to find out who had the closest guest to his birthday and time, and send away the T-shirt. I will take care of that, and I'll send that person a little extra something. That's one thing. Speaking of crazy people, no, there's another guy on YouTube who seems to think that I think he's really bizarre. He's a little tiny guy. I don't want to mention his name because I don't want you guys to find him and bully him or anything, but and I think he watches these videos, but he seems to be crazy. Like, he thinks that I think I'm really stuck up about my videos, and I think I'm the best video vlogger in Japan. He also seems to think that I'm on welfare for some bizarre reason. He makes these videos in which he doesn't mention my name, but it's obviously he's talking about me. We've had a lot of interaction email-wise, and I realized in our email interaction that there's a kind of a nut. There's a bolt loose right there, and I really wish he would get someone to watch his videos because he's a crazy conspiracy theorist, and he won't listen to me. Why would he listen to me, right? But he's crazy. I mean, he's like insane. He comes up with all this shit about me that doesn't make any sense. Like I'm on welfare. I think I'm the best video blogger in the world, which I don't. Renato, I think, is actually very, very good. He's the guy who got me inspired. He's the one who got me him and the Boring Dispatcher got me started. Well, quite a few people. The Daxter. You don't know who they are. A lot of these guys are gone now. Renato's still around though. Yeah, there's a crazy guy. Anyway, long story short, there's a crazy guy who thinks really crazy shit, and he's always making videos. Like every other video is entitled like something referring to me. And again, I'm not going to give you too many hints because I don't want you to bother. I honestly think he's nuts. But what do you do? What do you do when someone's like crazy and making videos about you? I don't worry about it. Except I actually do worry about him as a human being. Like I think something's wrong with him, and I think he needs help, but I don't know what to do. I told him, I said, do you have any family there, or can you should show your videos to your family? Because I think if anyone in his family saw the type of videos he was making, they would agree that there's something wrong. But anyway, speaking of insanity, what are we doing here? Speaking of insanity, I took the wrong turn. There's a certain person that I'm not going to mention who apparently has made a video about a drama that's over a year old, in which she was accused of making a lot of sock puppets, etc. And she, for some strange reason, she's come out with a video, I think claiming her innocence. Now, I have not watched her video. I'm not interested in this drama at all. I don't watch her at all. I'm not interested in her as a video maker. Partially because I never really was. I was just being polite because she was a friend of many of my friends at the time when we got to know each other. I never really saw much value in her videos. Not to say that they're bad. I just thought other people were much better. And I think a lot of the things she said in her videos were just factually incorrect. So, but again, she was a friend of many others. And when it was discovered that this certain person was doing a lot of things behind the scenes, and it was like very, very clear, and it was exposed on YouTube. This person never denied it at all. She has my phone number, my contacts, my line contact. She could have called and said, I never did any of that, which is what a normal person, a non-crazy person would have done. Now, of course, you can say, well, that's not how everybody deals with something. Well, you know, she contacted me for many things after that incident, but never to once say she was innocent, which I thought was pretty weird. And leading up to the incident, I'd already been informed of certain nefarious activities that this person was involved in. So, long story short, I haven't seen the video. People are asking me to make a video response to it, but I don't see the point of it. I do think this person is very, I don't want to say intelligent, but at least sneaky. Because, you know, this is almost 2 years after the fact now. Is it 2 years? I think it's almost 2 years after the fact. It'll be 2 years this year. And most people don't even know what this is about anymore. I don't really care. I never had a personal problem with her, but I am of the thought that if you do something bad, you should pay for your, mistakes. That's all. You should pay for your mistakes, and that's the only beef I have with this. Is that if you do something wrong, you should admit it. I think it's also a person in her position. A lot of young people. Apparently, a lot of really young people watch her. They see the way she acts, and they're going to think that that's okay. And you know what that got me to thinking about is Mel Gibson. This is pretty weird, but maybe you saw Mel Gibson was again made fun of by Ricky Gervais on the was it Global? What's it called? The Globes, Golden Globes, yeah. And I was thinking about poor Mel Gibson, and I thought a couple things. Number one, he can never be forgiven. And I'll tell you why. I forgive him. I don't give a shit. I mean, I think he was just drunk and he shouldn't have said what he said. He shouldn't have done it. But society or the public other people cannot forgive him publicly because it sends out the wrong message. That it's okay to be a douchebag and a racist if you apologize for it in the end. Or if you blame the alcohol. So I think in a way, and I think he probably understands this, that he can never be forgiven. They just can't. He has to be kind of the scapegoat for all racists, even though he's probably not really a racist. From what I've read about it, he's met with a bunch of rabbis. He's apologized. It was clear the alcohol. When you're in rage, when you're in love, there's also all these phone calls about him, yelling at his ex-wife or girlfriend or whatever, mother of his children. A lot of problems he's had. But he can never be forgiven. It gives out the wrong message to young people. And that's one of the things. Oh, yeah. But there was another interesting thing. So Ricky Gervais made all that fun, right? Made fun of him, okay? And I was thinking, that's horrible. Why doesn't he leave poor Mel Gibson alone? But if you think about it, it's really smart because it made me feel sorry for Mel Gibson. And maybe that was the point, Just keep laying into him publicly so much to the point where people are like, hey, I think that's enough. And maybe he can come back. John, what's the guy that looks like me? The Iron Man guy. I forgot his name. Anyway, he said he wouldn't make another Iron Man unless Mel Gibson were the director. So we don't know if that's going to really happen. But he's a great director. He's always been a lot of fun to watch. And it still makes me sad. But I kind of understand both sides, And I don't know what Ricky Gervais is thinking. Maybe because he seems to actually like the guy. But at the same, bringing us back to this person here in Japan, I think it's wrong, and it sends out the wrong message to just forgive someone who doesn't even fucking apologize, right, for something that pretty clear she's guilty of. Now, a lot of people say, well, you don't really know, you don't have the proof. Well, you know, in a court of law, O.J. Simpson was also found not guilty. So yeah, you can say she's not guilty, but in a civil case, she would pay, right? There's a lot of evidence, a lot of things behind the scenes. And you know what I don't understand why no one brings up, or she didn't bring up, of course, was the fact that she obviously, I mean, clearly, it was clear that she asked another YouTuber to take a picture of themselves holding up a sign saying I'm not this person, and send it to her so she could use it to troll with. So that's, I mean, that's clearly dishonest. Yeah. However, I will say something good about this. I actually ran into her at a YouTube gathering. They had a big party, which I don't think we were supposed to talk about. YouTube sends you these messages saying you're invited, but don't tell anybody, kind of thing. But I think it's okay after the fact. But they invited us to a big party, and as she was there, you know, it was like all the certain people over who had a certain amount of subscribers. And I talked to her, and I told her to her face, I said, you know, I'm glad you brought your friends here, because she's friends with a couple of my friends, and I really like her friends, which I won't mention. I don't want to embarrass them, because they might be embarrassed to be my friend. Who knows? But I said, thanks for bringing your friends along, because you made a good choice. I like your friends. And you know, I'm impressed that you would show your face here, because I still think you did it. And I told her, right? So it's not like I'm bad-mouthing someone behind their back or anything. And she knows how I feel, clearly. And again, I don't really give a fuck. I just wish she would have apologized for it, because I think it's wrong not to admit your mistakes. That's all I'm saying. But here's the other thing that I also think it's wrong, and makes me sad more than, and again, it's from a position of being not directly affected by this, but as a result of being friends with her, a couple of people people are not just, this is not just happening, but people are scared of this. People are afraid of associating with this young lady, because they're afraid that they will be similarly ostracized by the J-vlogging society. And I, for one, think that's sad. I won't do it, but at the same time, I can totally understand it, because she proved herself to be so two-faced and conniving and untrustworthy that people who were burned by associating with her in the past, and who actually considered themselves her friend in the past. You have to remember, the people who turned on her were her best friends, you know. And if she could do that to her best friends, and you know, who knows? And I think some people don't want to associate with anyone who associates with her now. And I've actually gone to the point of even blocking or ignoring them. It's not so much that they dislike those people, is that they're protecting themselves. Which again, I have not done. I associate with everybody, but I don't. It makes me sad, because I know at least one of those people is really bummed, suffering, sad by this, by being kind of grouped with her and ostracized with her as well. But anyway, that's regarding that topic, which you know, and again, I haven't watched the video, and I'm not going to. I'm just not interested in that, and it just doesn't. It's not worthy. But I think it does help us learn about how to deal with each other, and I think that's what's important. So when you talk about these things, people like write it off as you're just drama. It's not just drama. It's drama. Drama is the way we deal with each other, and and these are social skills that we have to learn. The social skill here, the lesson here is make up for your, you know, if you fuck up, fess up. That's it. Come clean. You know, it's wrong to not do that. I think it's my opinion, right? Yeah, and again, we can discuss whether it's okay to not associate with people, associate with someone that you don't like. You know, you might think it's childish or anything, but it's complete. People claim it's teenager, but this shit happens all the time in politics as well. People don't want to be associated with one politician because other politicians will dissociate from. You know, people call Colin Powell a rhino because he likes Obama. You know, so the Republican Party kind of turned their back on him and disowned him because he likes Obama. I mean, that's just wrong. He disagreed. You know, people are so black and white. Wow, that car's fast. And so simplistic in a way, but in a way, it's an easy way to live your life. You know, you just decide, you make up these rules and follow them. But I think life is more black and white. I mean, more. Sorry, there's a lot more gray and black in life. There's not. You know, a lot of people like to make things black and white because it's easier to live your life that way, right? right? Oh yeah, and that brings me back to Hitler, which people completely don't talk about Hitler at all as a worthy person, worthy of studying, and they should, because I don't even know what he did, but obviously he led a whole country. He put a whole country. He united a country, right? And of course, he used many of the things he did were terrible. I mean, okay, I can't say because I don't know. Many of the things, of course, were obviously terrible. Killing all the Jews, of course, was bad. What he did to homosexuals, etc., etc. Stealing artwork. I mean, we can go on and on. But he obviously did something right. And I think we as human beings are stupid to just write him off completely. I don't think that. I think you should be able to study Hitler and try to figure out what he did right, because he obviously did something right. I mean, how do you unite everybody like that? Are you saying that Germans were simply united because they hated gays and Jews? Is it really that simple? Well, I don't know, but because we don't really look into that. But I mean, he was a vegetarian. Are people against that? What I'm saying is that we as human beings are just too simplistic, and we just tend to write someone off completely and not look into the deeper, not look behind it. Like why did it happen? What can we learn from that? The same thing with Japan and Pearl Harbor, right? With Japan was just sneaking, they attacked us. No, there was a lot behind it. They were suffering too. It's a lot more complicated, but we don't really get into that. Anyway. And that's something that maybe I'm being guilty of right now. Why did she act that way? For example, our J-vlogger. Was she somehow suffering? Was someone else bullying her too? I don't know. Nobody knows. So maybe I'm guilty of that too. But anyway, the last thing I guess I want to talk about. A couple good news, right? Chica from Bilingual Girl got engaged last year. Caleb also got engaged. I don't know if you know him, but he's also on the channel. Not quite as famous as she. Old Hiroko Nakamura. What's her name? Hiroko channel, I think it's called. She had her second baby, so that's great. A lot of people had things like that. Good news happening as well. Other news out there is Ryan Boundless, I think. I'm not sure about this. He could be trolling. I don't know. Is apparently leaving Japan, and it's always sad to see someone leave, regardless. I've always thought he's a good video maker. I've often disagreed. Recently, I've disagreed with the way he does his videos and the way he behaves here on YouTube. But I'll be the first to admit he's definitely a good video maker. And it's sad that he's leaving. Often when people leave, they just drop off YouTube. A lot of J-vloggers have left and they just stop J-vlogging, and that's sad. I hope he does continue, and I'm sure he has a lot to say, and he has quite a following. So hopefully they'll support him and encourage him to keep J-vlogging. Again, I don't have anything against him either personally. I don't find much use for his recent videos. Yeah, because I like sincerity, and I feel like they're not so sincere. Some of them. But I'm not a big fan, so I'm sure I'm probably missing the other great videos he makes. So, but more to the point, it's sad that he's leaving. So. If he is really leaving, I don't know about that, but I heard that. Lastly, the Hanami is coming. So the Hanami it's always been the first. Well, the last couple of years, it's been the first week of April, but it looks like I was talking to Hiko Simon. He's like, well, we have to make it, we have to make it so it actually hits the Hanami time. Now, personally, and I'm going to disagree with Hiko on this. I think the biggest thing is everyone being together and getting together and meeting each other. So that's a little bit more important for me than actually seeing the flowers, because I live here, so I see the flowers all the time. So I don't think that's such a big deal, and he lives here too. So I would think that the priority should be meeting each other, not the actual flowers. He says last year the flowers were almost gone, but I thought it was fine. I had a great time, and I enjoyed the flowers. But apparently, he was very disappointed in the sakura in the cherry blossom last year, so we'll have to talk about that. Anyway, that's it for my long ass vlog for today. This is a long one. It's been a while since I put one of these out. If you did get to the end, please make a remark about something physical that you see. Okay, at the end here, clothes or hair or glasses, whatever, the car, whatever you want. Make some remark about something you see at the very end of the video. Okay. And let me see what else. Nothing else to say about this. There was one little tiny thing. I'm sure. Oh yeah, I'll be making some more answering your stupid questions videos soon. I'm a bit behind. I'm really busy this week, but from next week I got a lot more time. So look for more of my videos coming out. And thanks a lot. Talk to you guys soon. Cheers.
If you need help, then dial your operator.